Ai, Bojo. Oga Wyndham Kibinishi Kino Shiro Dam Knabajing Don Jaba. Makanagana. Dishkas. Um, it just feels sometimes that people are struggling, just like me. I'm human, and to be able to go through the struggle together instead of feeling alone and isolated. So it's the times when we struggle, we have to pick up our sacred items and we have to pick up things that we left by the trail. And why I say that is because sometimes in our struggle, we find ourselves and we find who we truly are. Um, we find our spirit, we find our voice, we find our true alliances in a spiritual sense. Um, and it's so sad that people have to feel so alone when they have families and we talk about the wound, the great wound, and I suffer with it just like many of our families suffer with it, and all of the other above, PTSD, ADHD, all of the alphabet, I'm sure, that people struggle with in their emotions and their feelings and their thinking, and just to know that they're not alone. And then you put drug addiction on top of that, or alcohol and drugs, it is leaves rooms for disaster and a lot of heartbreak. And um, so I just want to say that you're not alone in your struggle. Um, and the feeling that when somebody makes you feel wrong in your being, that it's not yours, it's theirs. And sometimes our self-pride or our stubbornness can get in the way of what really needs to be done. And we kind of have to be there for our families. And not to say that there's any great rewards in it. However, I think that in the times of what's ahead of us, I think that we have to build alliances together in sustaining ourselves for our future generations. People can talk a really good talk and talk in the masses and educate the masses, but if we don't have that alliance in our own families, it really don't mean much. um, and to be able to build those alliances together. um, they talk about the love of water, and water is life. Sometimes we miss the true value in that, um, because it becomes another way of not really having to take responsibility for our own personal lives. Um, we get caught up in fame, um, money, and we forget our loved ones, and we let them just fend for themselves. And that's not how our ancestors ever treated us. We were never treated as the Indian agents treated us, and I think we have to really stand together in these times ahead. It's being able to pray and together in a kind way. And sometimes when you're out there educating other people, you kind of forget about your own family and you forget them. And sometimes it's the hard workers, the people that are doing all the hard work, and they get left behind. So I just want to say a prayer for the people that are struggling through something right now, and just to let you know that you're not alone in your struggle. There's many people that are going through the same thing, and to be able to find your voice and to be able to find yourself in that struggle is partly who we are as Anishinaabe people, and the reality of getting through in a good way, in a kind way, is the blessing, is something that we forget how to be kind to one another, and we forget that the people that didn't leave us alone, or we forget about the kindness that they showed us and how we were there for them. We are in the times of where people get used and things are loved, and we have to remember that we are people of the earth, and we were here to take care of the good earth and to take care of each other in a kind way. And there are many abuses that sort of disguise themselves as other things, that it's still abuse and it's wrong to treat somebody with silence, not to answer calls, to ignore them, just to be silent. That is abusive in itself. To keep them from love, to keep them from your companionship, and it's not healthy. Today, I am a healthy human being that loves, that hurts, that feels joys, that feels sadness, and I feel the extreme emotion most of the time, in awe of Creator and creation's light and love. I'm shown many things of that nature, and it's to be able to build alliances with people that want the same. Deep down inside, I think we all want to feel that same kindness and that same love and that same togetherness, to feel a part of something. And when people we love keep us away from that, it's very abusive, and it shows that we still haven't moved that much farther to bring it together and to be there for one another. During the holidays, during the Christmas, I didn't celebrate it really. It was nice to have family and to be together with my brothers, and there was giveaways. We as Native people, I know, I've had many giveaways that are prepared for quests, vision quests, and so I do know well about giveaways. And when I came out to Edmonton, I really liked the round dances that I attended, because it paid tribute to somebody that had passed away, and how their family paid tribute by having a giveaway and a dance and a feast, and how their memory is kept very sacred and very much alive. And I really enjoy being a part of that, and to know that building alliances, that we can bring these teachings back home to share with the people, to bring alliances together, um, to help one another, to become better human beings for the greater sustainability for our future. I know, like with my brother, taking care of my niece for that time has been a great experience, has been very healing for me on a personal level. And knowing that he is stronger and he can take care of his daughter, has broken many cycles in itself. And it would be nice to have the support of all of our brothers and sisters and aunties and uncles, and to acknowledge that, especially our dad. And it just seems like when people live their lives and they live so quickly, they don't have the time of day, and it can leave people behind, and people feel left out. And I think with family, you should not leave anybody behind. I was talking to my friend, and we talked about how people out here in the culture, they don't like using the color black because it reminds them of the black robes. And in my generation, I felt safe in church. I felt safe when I used to go to church with my grandmother, and so I never wanted to ever dishonor culture by color. In universal teachings, I truly believe that we're all one, and spirit really knows no color. And I don't like to hear that people are excluded because of color. I know my grandmother was white, and she was raised by a Native family, so I don't have the right to exclude anyone from any circle because they're non-Native. We are all in it together, and I don't think anybody has the right to define who is Indian and who isn't. There's only one true language, and that's a language of love. And to be able to break those cycles that the wound has created, I have a responsibility towards that. And we all do, because if we have children or grandchildren, we all have that responsibility to create awareness, to create the change. And it's not easy to break that. It's not easy to work through the denial, work through the pain, because it was pain that brought us to the place of refuge, personal battles. And they weren't only mine. They belonged to my parents, my grandparents, and their parents, and so on. So I think that every time that we do a quest and we want good vision for our future, we have to work together, and we can't disinclude people because of their color or their race. We don't have that power. There's only one creator, and creator doesn't exclude that right. And I don't think any human being has the right to exclude another human being for wanting to pray in their kind way. If I really think about it, on my mom's side, her mom was white, and most of our native people, a lot of them have integrated, and because of um, uh, that was mandatory to be part of this country was, and part of the Dominion was to franchise. And so really, if we look at the reality, we're all kind of Métis. We have a lot of non-native in our bloodlines, and that doesn't give us room to disinclude other people to wanting to learn about our way. Um, our way is very blessed and very um, kind, and we were always stewards of the land and of the water, and